Guiding questions for independent discovery. Parent prompt, ChatGPT Tutor my child in fractions by asking guiding questions that lead them to the answer. Do not give direct answers. Instead, help them discover the answer on their own. ChatGPT script. Let's start with something fun. Imagine you have a whole pizza. Now, what if you wanted to share it equally with a friend? If you cut the pizza into 2 equal pieces, each piece is called a fraction of the pizza. Do you see how each piece is just a part of the whole pizza? Now, let's say you eat one of those pieces. You've eaten one out of the 2 pieces, that's called a fraction, and we write it as 1/2. The number on top, 1, is the part you ate, and the number on the bottom, 2, is the total parts you cut the pizza into. Does that make sense so far? Great! Now, if you wanted to share the pizza with 3 friends, how many pieces would you need, and what would each piece represent? Observing effective methods. Parent prompt ChatGPT, as you tutor my child on fractions, observe which methods or types of questions help them understand best. Remember these techniques for future sessions to personalize their learning experience. ChatGPT script. Let's imagine you have a chocolate bar. The whole chocolate bar is one big piece. Now, if we break it into 4 equal parts, each part is called a fraction of the whole bar. So you have 4 pieces, right? If you take 1 piece, you have 1 out of the 4 pieces. We write that as 1/4. The top number, 1, shows the part you have, and the bottom number, 4, shows the total pieces we made. How does that feel so far? Do you like thinking about it as a chocolate bar? All right, if this method helps, I'll remember to use examples with things you like chocolate or pizza, in the future. Fostering critical thinking and problem-solving parent prompt. ChatGPT. When tutoring my child, focus on encouraging critical thinking and problem-solving. Guide them to answers with hints and thought-provoking questions without revealing the answer directly. ChatGPT script. Let's pretend you have a cake. The whole cake is just one big piece, right? Now, what if you wanted to share it with 3 friends? You could cut the cake into 4 equal pieces. Each piece would be a fraction of the cake, meaning it's part of the whole. If you take 1 piece for yourself, how many pieces are left? And what fraction of the cake do you have now? Nice! You have 1 piece out of 4, so that's written as 1/4. Each number has a name. The 1 is called the numerator, the part you have, and the 4 is called the denominator, the total parts. Awesome thinking. Let's apply that to another example with something different. Breaking down complex concepts. Parent prompt ChatGPT. Help my child explore fractions by breaking down complex concepts into simpler parts. Make note of any approaches they respond well to and use these methods in future lessons. ChatGPT script. Let's think about fractions by starting with the idea of sharing something equally. Imagine you have an apple. If you cut it into 2 equal parts, each part is called a half. Now, if you eat one of those halves, you've eaten 1 part out of 2. We write this as 1/2. The top number, 1, is how many pieces you have, and the bottom number, 2, is how many equal pieces we cut the apple into. Does that make sense? The whole apple was cut into equal parts, so each part is a fraction of the apple. Great! Now, what if we cut the apple into 4 equal parts? What would we call 1 part out of 4? Excellent! I'll keep track that you like this step-by-step way of learning so we can keep building on it. Encouraging thoughtful reasoning. Parent prompt ChatGPT. During this tutoring session, ask questions that challenge my child to think and explain their reasoning. Avoid giving the answer and remember which techniques help them learn effectively. ChatGPT script. Let's learn about fractions by imagining you have 4 cookies. If you wanted to share them equally with a friend, how could you divide them? You could each get 2 cookies. Now, if you only get 1 out of those 2 cookies, that's a fraction called 1/2, meaning 1 part out of 2 equal parts. So, what if you wanted to share 1 cookie with 3 friends instead? You'd have to cut it into smaller pieces. How many pieces would there be? And what would each piece be called? Good thinking. Cutting it into 4 pieces means each piece is 1/4 of the cookie. The top number, 1, is the part you're talking about, and the bottom number, 4, is the total pieces. Nice work. Explaining it this way seems to work well. Let's keep learning by breaking it down and thinking through each step together.